Woke timer set. All right, let's get on with Grassroots with Jayda. If you say this looks like a gun, then you're watching the wrong show. Our hearts go out to everyone who was affected by Stephon Clark's death. He deserved better, and all Black people deserve better. Keep fighting. Apparently this past week, Atlanta has been targeted by hackers who have shut down the city's online systems and are asking for a ransom to be paid before they turn them back on. I guess it really is robbing season. Speaking of stealing, let's hear from Mark Zuckerberg. Many think he's responsible for a company secretly collecting the personal data of 50 million Facebook users. Who would have ever suspected that the guy who stole the idea for Facebook would steal all of your personal information? Who's watching the Roseanne reboot? Yeah, me either. Apparently it's got good ratings. A lot of people are watching it. I guess they had to find something new to watch before NRA TV goes off the air. Roseanne, now there's a paid crisis actor for you. It appears that Trump had some free time after adding a dangerous citizenship question to the census to give Roseanne a call to congratulate her. You know Wanda Sykes is the writer on that show. Wonder why she didn't get a phone call.
Would you go down to the White House?
Honestly, I would go. I would go, and I would show up with moving boxes and a U-Haul. I'd be like, let's go.
I am so excited to have my good friend and neighbor, acupuncturist and statewide organizer, Mark Anthony Johnson on the show. The theme, medical neglect in jails and prisons. Part of the reason we asked Mark Anthony to be on this month is because LA County just released this campaign called Mission Possible, with the goal to hire more medical professionals to work in the jails. The Mission Possible website includes language like social justice medicine, medical careers with meaning, a uniquely underserved population, and a good work life. They even made a video to go along with the campaign. Let's take a look.
It's crazy that in LA County we have 17,000 people incarcerated at any given time.
Yeah, a social justice video that starts off using the word crazy as a descriptor. Okay.
So why would somebody want to work in correctional health services? I will say that I certainly never saw myself working in a jail. It never really occurred to me.
It never occurred to you, white girl, to work in a jail? Maybe it's because you never realized jails existed.
We are not custody staff. We are not correctional staff. Our duty is to heal.
Her duty is coming out of her mouth right now. This is a 13-minute video the county put out, and it's ridiculous on so many levels. If you're not already aware, the LA County jails are synonymous with medical neglect. 6 people have died in the jail so far in 2018, and an average of 25 people die every year. Don't worry, y'all. We made our own version of the Mission Possible video to clear some things up. Let's take a look, and we'll be right back with Mark Anthony Johnson. It's crazy, insane, cuckoo, bonkers that in LA County we have 17,000 people incarcerated at any given time. So why would somebody want to work in jail? I mean, correctional health services?
Well, for one, many of us don't even really work here. We clock in and clock out on a sign-in sheet, like paper. You know how easy it is to clock in and then leave and go to work at another job somewhere else? Lots of doctors do it here, including psychiatrists who works at Twin Towers, LAC, USC Medical Center, and Pacific Clinics in Rosemead. In 2016, he made $353,000 just from one jail job. So just think of the money you could be pulling in from 3.
We deliberately try to see prisoners when they are in court or meeting with their lawyers. They still get a check off on our list and are sent back to the beginning of the line. As DHS Director of Community Health, Mark Galley, has said, there's a high no-show rate to appointments because, you know, prisoners just don't show up.
Even if you make a mistake and get sued, the county pays out, and we mean big mistakes. Ellen Wong over there put a prisoner who had fallen and hit his head multiple times into a single cell where he was left unattended for long periods of time, and now he has permanent cognitive disabilities and uses a wheelchair. The county paid out $5.9 million, and she got promoted.
An average of 25 people die inside LA County Jail each year, and it has no effect on us. Mysterious suicides, no effect. Died from medical neglect, no effect. Beaten to death, no effect. I mean, sure, the DOJ mandated us to follow certain rules after all the mysterious suicides, murders, but with Jeff Sessions at the helm, come on, hell, You can even sexually assault prisoners and get away with it.
Of course, it's not all neglect and assaulting. Once in a while, when we see a patient, we really do get to make a difference, like diagnosing cancer. I mean, sure, they probably haven't been diagnosed because there's no good affordable health care for them in their community on the outside. And yeah, they probably won't be able to get the proper chemotherapy when they get out. And okay, it's possible that they got cancer in the first place from unaddressed socioeconomic issues, but you get to be the doctor that tells them that they have cancer.
Shit, I have to make it to my other job. Can we wrap this up? Come join LA County's Correctional Health Services. With the system this fucked up, the only answer is more of the same. Rebranded though, definitely rebranded. Welcome back. Next we have the fabulous Mark Anthony Johnson. Let's welcome Mark Anthony, everybody. Mark Anthony.
Hey.
Hi. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for
I'm so
having
happy
me.
that you're here. Oh my gosh.
excited.
Yes, me too. I'm super excited. So how you feeling?
Good. I'm like feeling this chair and
Right?
lights and all of it. I'm
Right?
excited about all of it.
Thank you, thank you. What do you think about the whole Mission Possible PR campaign?
Yeah, I think this is interesting. You know, I talk to healthcare providers all the time. Folks that are working in the county, folks that work in local clinics. And, you know, there is a general sense, which I think is important, that no one's health should be neglected, right? That
Exactly.
people at any place in the community, in a jail cell, should have their health rights always observed. But I think fundamentally, the question we always have to answer as healthcare providers is, how is healthcare being used in service of our most courageous vision of what Black people deserve?
Exactly.
And, you know, at every point in history where there was a movement to change systems, you know, the movement to abolish slavery, to abolish Jim Crow and lynching, healthcare providers have thrown down to change systems, you know what I mean? And I think that's the question we have to ask ourselves now. It's like, what are we doing? How is the healthcare that we are deploying, how is the craft that we are here to be in service to, and the people we're being in service to, how is that actually serving to change the system that we're in now? And the reality is that I think as long as we legitimize the idea that jails and prisons can serve front line, second line, third line healthcare for our folks, like, we're gonna keep staying in this cycle. And so I think something like Mission Possible, while I think the people who, and I've talked to some of those people, while I think their values around not wanting anyone to have their rights neglected, is it a part of a political strategy to really transform LA County? I think that's where we need to really push folks.
This Mission Possible campaign, you know, it talks about basically how great, you know, the medical system is inside of jail, and we know that that's not true.
Yeah.
You know, I even can share a little bit of my personal story about around when I was in prison, how I was neglected medically, right? I had a UTI that turned into a kidney infection where I almost died, right? So, and I could have easily been treated with antibiotics, but just something that simple, you know, people are not getting those simple things, right? So, I mean, I feel like this campaign is a joke. You know, it's a joke, and, you know, it makes our job that much harder, right? Because you have people who are out there actually believing that that is true, and it's not, right? So I'm glad that we have fierce organizers out there like you who are advocating for our health
like
care.
you.
Yeah, you know, I
We're out
mean,
here. We're out here trying to do it.
we
You know what
are.
I mean?
We are, and I thank you for that. A little off topic, a little more personal. Let the people know who Mark Anthony is.
Get ready here.
Okay, so I feel like many people don't know who your father is unless they've read Patrice's book, right? And, or unless they've been lucky enough to have been invited out to a concert like myself, right?
Yes, we had fun. It was good.
So I was like, can you let folks know at home who your father is?
Yeah. You know, my father's, he's amazing. He's wonderful. I mean, both my parents are, but my father is one of the original members of Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yes.
And I have to say that music really shaped my ability to do this work. You know, when I think about the funk and soul era and how much of that music in the 60s and 70s had an explicitly Black and political message, like, I think that's so powerful, and for me also, like, I think it really activates my imagination about what we deserve. You know, when you hear Nina Simone talk about, you know, blossom on the trees, you know how I feel.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's what I want Black people to feel every day.
Yes.
You know, when you hear the first few guitar licks of September, you're like, that's
Yes,
how I want people to feel.
Exactly.
And so how can we fight for a society that where Black folks feel like that every single day?
Yes.
You know, and so very much I appreciate my father because he's a part of a tradition that inspired my own political imagination, and every day gives me a felt sense of what I want for our folks.
That's real. Oh, that was beautiful. That's real. I mean, I know growing up in the house listening to Earth, Wind & Fire, I have them in my playlist right now on Spotify. Like, Devotion, okay, that's my number one. That's my fave, okay? And I feel you when you say, like, their music really shaped our work. You know, like, listening to Devotion is like, we need devotion. You know, bless the children, right? Bless us all, you know? And that's what we need right now. We need people to be devoted to our loved ones who are inside, to be devoted to their them being healthy. You know, being devoted to taking care of them when they come home.
That's right.
You know, and I listen to that every morning.
That's
I do.
See?
It's really inspirational to me.
It's where it's at.
It is. It is. Oh, okay. Cool. Well, next question. Thank you, Mark Anthony.
Thank you.
So, how did you first get involved with working particularly in relation to community health care?
I was doing organizing work here in Los Angeles and with an organization called the Strategy Center. And we were part of a broad coalition of folks who were responding to Hurricane Katrina. I mean, many of us know that Hurricane Katrina was super damaging to specifically Black people in the South, particularly New Orleans, and 400,000 Black people were dispersed. You know, in many ways, it was another diaspora we could look at the ways in which folks were pushed across the country. And so when we were there, we were dealing with police brutality and trying to stop deportations and trying to rebuild people's homes. And you know, I was making several short-term trips there. There are many organizations that were rooted there and really trying to fight hard. But in one of those trips, I was exposed to some folks that were doing acupuncture on the ground there. And I was like, whoa, like, this makes so much sense. Like, if we can bring the health work and specifically address trauma, because that's what they were doing. They were doing trauma treatments for folks. You know, folks were, how do you expect people to fight for their homes when they've lost everything?
Exactly.
That's devastating. And so it really impacted me. And I came back and within a couple years applied to Chinese medicine school and became an acupuncturist because I'm like, we need to have this skill as a part of our work. And I'm grateful that we've been able to experiment, you know, in so many ways, like at Dignity and Power Now with the wellness clinics, and there's so much work happening around the country with healing justice work, and it's really growing in a way that I think we can see that it's connected to building power and well-being for our folks. So.
That's real. I know when I first got with Dignity and Power Now, I was like, acupuncture. I was like, Mark Anthony, you are not coming near me with them needles. Remember, I was like, what is going on?
I do.
And he was like, you're like, Jayda, you know, you're just so chill about it. He was like, it's gonna be real cool. And I'm like, no. Okay, like, no. But I was excited that, you know, I was introduced to a different form of healing. I felt so relaxed. I've never felt like that before.
Yeah.
So I really feel like I thank you for bringing acupuncture into the organization, into the communities, because we don't know anything about that in the hood, and that's real. LA County is attempting to spend $3.5 billion on 2 new jails, right? Including a mental health jail. We all know that there is no such thing as a mental health jail. So what exactly is the answer?
There's so many organizations that I think, including DPN, including some of the organizations that have a long history in LA County that are fighting for a different vision. You know, we keep talking about, like, look, community-based mental health care. Right? If we really believe that the mental health population in the jails is going to grow, then the answer isn't to build a new jail. The answer is to stop people from going in.
Exactly.
Right? And so let's build access in our local communities. Make sure that someone can walk out of the door and be within, you know, walking or driving distance or bus distance from a mental health care facility. To me, that's the vision, right? And I think if we look at the history of jails, like, I think part of the question, again, as healthcare providers that we have to ask ourselves is why should people be well, right? And that question is a really political question. During slavery, jails existed, and they existed to capture people who ran away from slavery and bring them in so they could be resold into slavery.
Right.
And doctors played a role in making sure that black people in jails were well enough to be resold.
Exactly.
And so what is the purpose of our people's well-being? It's not to reinforce a system of incarceration and criminalization. It's so that we can live in dignified societies where we have control of our resources, where we have access to jobs and healthcare and housing. Like that's the answer, and that's the radical imagination and investment that many of us are fighting for, that you are leading in this work, that so many folks are really pushing for.
Right.
So to me, that's the history that informs why we need to push really hard in this moment.
It goes back to the 13th Amendment, 13th. It's like you abolish slavery is abolished unless you committed a crime.
Yep.
Basically.
Facts.
Right. And
Facts.
it's being shown right here.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting the way all this plays a part in 2018.
Totally.
So I have one more question for you.
Okay.
And I'm so sad our time is coming to an end. This is so much fun. But okay, they're not going to build any more jails, and we say this because of the new ballot initiative that we're gathering signatures for, right? Can you tell us a little bit more about the Reform Jails and Community Reinvestment Initiative and how people can get involved?
There is a really broad coalition of folks. Some of folks who've been involved in the jail fight for the last decade, some folks who are new to the jail fight, and came together to say, what is the comprehensive approach to stopping this jail? And many of us are organizing on the ground, as you know. We're doing town halls. We are, doing actions. We did the jail bed action, and with that, we're also launching a ballot initiative. We're saying, hey, look, let's put it to the voters. Does LA County actually want to spend $3 billion when that money could go elsewhere? When we did interviews in front of the jails and everybody said, no, we don't want to spend that money. And so let's translate that into a vote, and let's actually give the people the opportunity to make that decision versus our county board of supervisors making the decision for us. And it's our loved ones that are in there. It's our folks. And so this ballot initiative is going to do a couple things. It's going to strengthen civilian oversight of the sheriff's department, who is running the jails and is harming folks. It's going to also charge that oversight body with developing a plan and analysis of how can the reforms that are happening and that are on the table, dealing with homelessness, changing the mental health system, housing, all of these things that this county is trying to do, bail reform, how does that translate into less people being in a jail bed? And that's the analysis we need to push forward. That's what other people are doing across the country.
Right.
And so this ballot initiative would give us the opportunity to put that on the table and really give us an opportunity to push for that and to see it in reality and to see how we actually make a lot of things we care about, healthcare, housing, and all that, translate into less jails.
So how can people get involved?
Definitely. So you can go to reformlajails.com.
Okay.
And follow up with us there. You can sign on as an endorser.
Okay.
And that's one of the best ways to get involved. We're going to be launching in April, so stay tuned there. You'll see on the website we'll have more information around where folks can come out, and we're going to talk about how we're going to throw down to make this thing happen. We have folks collecting signatures right now, and we're driving forward. That's
right. This all just makes me so happy. It's gonna happen. It's been a long time coming. And guess what? We ain't gonna rest till this shit happens, right?
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
We're gonna get this.
We are gonna get there, I promise you. Yes. Well, I thank you so much for being a guest here on Grassroots with Jayda. I love you so much. I respect your work.
Thank you.
And yes, we in this for the long run, right? We in this,
oh.
right? Make sure to visit reformlajails.com to get your petitions for the Reform Jails and Community Reinvestment Initiative so we can stop Mission Neglectful. And don't forget to subscribe to Dignity and Power Now's YouTube channel so you don't miss my upcoming 420 special. Thank you for tuning in. See y'all next time.